This video is meant for the individual that has an employer-sponsored plan and may be offered an annuity income stream through that employer plan, or they're allowing this individual to take a lump sum payment and roll it over into some sort of IRA or other qualified retirement account or Roth account. So I'm going to go over the differences between these options and then which one may be the best specific to what your retirement goals are. So I might, throw out some different ideas that could help you understand your goals a little bit better, and then saying, okay, if I'm given this opportunity, does it make sense for me to leverage the annuity option through my employer plan, or should I take my money in the lump sum and then make sure to customize it into different IRAs? And typically we see that the latter, the option of taking the lump sum and customizing it, is usually more mathematically efficient. So to understand the differences better, be mindful of how everything essentially works on the back end. What's happening is an employee is working for an employer. They're working for X amount of years of service, and this could be some sort of defined benefit type option, saying as long as they're working, as long as they're getting paid some sort of salary, and incentive is that they have some sort of retirement plan set up for this employee on the back end. So when it comes time that either some sort of qualification event occurs or there's some sort of changes that are happening within that plan, they may come to the table and say, okay, we're going to give you an offer. We could either give you income from your retirement account in the form of single life income, in the form of joint life income, or in the form of a period certain option, such as, okay, you're going to receive income for these next 10 years or for these next 5 years, or you're going to receive lifetime income, but if you pass away within the first couple of years, there could still be an income stream left over to beneficiaries for the next 5 years. So what's ultimately happening is it's creating some sort of retirement paycheck for a set duration of time. You don't have to worry about investing these dollars. They're basically leveraging an insurance company. And typically it's only one insurance company that's offered throughout that employer plan to give you that offer. So like, as an example, if it's company XYZ, they might say, okay, because you are a male age 65, we're going to give you $30,000 of income every single year. And you don't know whether or not this is good or this is bad. Now, whenever we're comparing it to the lump sum option, they're saying, okay, on the annuity side, you could receive $30,000 every year to the day you pass away. If you pass away after a couple of weeks, then you receive no more money. Your beneficiaries don't get anything. If, let's say, you live for the next 30 years, we're going to keep paying you that $30,000, $30,000, $30,000. So that's essentially how the annuity option works. With the lump sum option, they might say, okay, well, you could either go with this annuity option, or we could give you $500,000 in the form of a lump sum, and you could take these monies because it's a qualified pre-tax retirement account. We could roll this over. You could roll it over into an IRA of your choice, or multiple IRAs that you could customize. So basically, they're saying we no longer want the risk on our books. We do not want to pay you a constant income stream. We want you to have this nice shiny object, this nice lump sum, and now you could create some sort of strategic plan to match it up specifically to your goals. So when somebody's looking at this, they might say, oh, well, okay, I understand the lump sum. This is $500,000. That's a nice shiny object, but I'm not really sure how to create the proper strategy on how to layer this out. I'm just going to go with the easier choice of the annuity option, of just the income stream. The problem with getting the income stream and the annuity option is most likely there's not going to be some sort of beneficiary aspect to it. So like if you're taking a single life income, just like similar to like a pension plan, if you take the single life income, that income will stop upon the passing of that individual. If you trigger the joint life income, then the income is going to stop off of the second spouse, meaning obviously if you have two people, it's going to be joint, the individual and their spouse, and then there'll be some sort of calculation. If you take the period certain option, maybe that period certain option is only going for a set duration of time, meaning if you have it set up for 10 years to go out, but then all of a sudden you live past 10 years, well, then you'll have no more income coming to you. It would ultimately stop. So there's not a lot of flexibility when you're handcuffing yourself to that annuity option through that employer-sponsored plan. Now, by leveraging the lump sum option, you could go and place that into an IRA or multiple IRAs. One of those IRAs could be a personal annuity, meaning an individual annuity, one that allows you to have control and could produce a much higher cash flow than what that one insurance company was doing through that employer-sponsored plan. And I'm going to go through different examples so that you could really understand what I'm talking about regarding, okay, option one, just taking the annuity only, versus option two, option B, taking the lump sum and then splicing that off to make sure that each one is being optimized towards your specific goal and you're having the most amount of flexibility possible. So I hope that these two differences make sense regarding the annuity option. Think of it as income versus the lump sum option. You're basically getting, and you could use this lump sum to do investments, to grow your monies. You could use it for an income strategy. You could use it for an emergency strategy. You could use it for a death benefit strategy. There's a lot of different layers that you could create within the lump sum option after you take the lump sum and you roll that over into an IRA. So basically, the IRA allows you to have more customization as opposed to just leaving in a lump sum, essentially a non-invested position. So now when we look at an example, I'm going to try to unravel this chicken scratch on the screen. Let's say if we're looking at a situation where we have an individual is age 65. He's looking to retire at age 67. We understand at age 67, this individual's expenses between him and his spouse are going to be $100,000 per year. When we're looking underneath the hood on saying, okay, when you stop working, what are going to be your income sources? They do not have any pension. He's going to be able to collect $40,000 per year of income. His spouse, she's going to be able to collect $30,000 per year of income. So we understand if we're looking to create some sort of income strategy, the goal is to get to $100,000 of income. And I'm not going to incorporate inflation. This is just for really simplistic purposes regarding this example. But we understand that the guaranteed income sources are going to be $70,000, what they would be receiving from Social Security income, but their expenses are higher than that because the expenses are $100,000. So let's say if their employer says, okay, listen, we understand you're 65 right now. We're going to give you an annuity option where you could trigger $30,000 of lifetime income starting at age 67. Do you want to have this offer? Or we could pay you $500,000 in the form of a lump sum that you could now take those monies and roll it over and try to invest it on your own and create your own strategy. So when the person looks at this, they say, okay, well, the annuity option, the $30,000, is going to give me the income that I need, $30,000 of income. So $30,000 of the annuity income, $40,000 of their Social Security income, $30,000 of the spouse's Social Security income. That's going to get them to the $100,000 marker that they have to at least hit every year to at least give them a baseline. That might work. Now, when we look underneath the hood a little bit further, does it make sense to go and surrender control, surrender that flexibility, or take the lump sum and therefore create some sort of flexible strategy to give them the cash flow need, but then also have remaining dollars left over to do whatever they want with those excess dollars? So what I mean by that is the annuity option through their employer sponsor plan can accomplish their income need, but they don't have any other accounts unless they have other savings in like non-qualified accounts or a different employer sponsor plan. They really don't have anything else remaining for some sort of discretionary need or emergency need or growth related need, really whatever that case might be. So when we're looking underneath the hood and saying, okay, $500,000 in the form of a lump sum, if there's a way to go and leverage these dollars properly, still create the $30,000 cash flow need, but then only using the smallest amount of dollars, only as much as necessary, into whatever the best company is, the best offering for a male age 65 looking to trigger income at age 67, what are the top results that are going to come back? So in this example, maybe out of the $500,000 lump sum, the best offer is going to be placing $300,000 into a specific IRA annuity on the individual side. We'll call it IRA number one. And by waiting 2 years, this is going to trigger $30,000 of lifetime income. By leveraging the lump sum option, doing the rollover, this now leaves $200,000 remaining to accomplish other retirement goals. Maybe out of this $200,000, this individual wants to leave $50,000 into some sort of money market account, something that's not invested with the market, is not going to ebb and flow with the market. So this could be IRA number two. And then they have an additional $150,000 remaining that they can leverage towards some sort of growth strategy. So maybe out of this $150,000, they could go $50,000, put into an IRA that's set up with really aggressive investments. Maybe take another $50,000, put it into a type of fixed account, so they're taking advantage of the current high interest rate environment. Maybe they could take another $50,000, put it into a safe accumulation strategy with protections, basically a protected growth strategy. So now what this is creating is IRA number 3, IRA number 4, IRA number 5. If you were to just go into that annuity only option, you know, okay, the $30,000 is going to give you the cash flow that you need. By taking the lump sum, and it really just depends on each individual situation. I've seen it where the annuity option is so large that it doesn't make sense to take the lump sum. But what happens is majority of the times it does make sense to take the lump sum, and then you create a strategy to accomplish your goal better, more mathematically efficient. So in this example where you take the lump sum option, you only need $300,000 into the top IRA annuity that will generate the $30,000 of cash flow. You have $50,000 that's now remaining in a money market account. You have $50,000 that's remaining in an aggressive growth strategy. You have another $50,000 going into a fixed growth strategy, and then a safe growth strategy would be the remaining $50,000. So by splicing it up properly, you've now just optimized your lane. And that's the importance of having flexible strategies as opposed to just going into an annuity only option through that employer plan. And the reason why typically that annuity only option is not as powerful as taking the lump sum and then creating those flexible options, because this is only one company. Typically you only have, company XYZ that's offering that one annuity offer, that one annuity option to say single life, joint life, period, certain, whatever that is. When you go on the individual side, you could have hundreds of different combinations. So by having hundreds of different combinations, it's like eggs in your basket to choose. You could optimize the correct strategy for that male age 65 in that specific state waiting for a 2-year deferral, which, this option that the one company might be in 20th place as opposed to using that on the individual side. You could go in the first, second, third place and be a lot more powerful with less dollars. So the main goal is to match up your situation. Figure out what's your point A, where are you right now? Point B, when do you ideally want to retire? And then figure out something from point B to date of death. Figure out, okay, how is this going to be the most effective, most efficient? We leverage something that's a trademark process known as the retirement diet plan, but it correlates to a really easy way to remember is the 3-thing scenario. So making sure that you have more than enough income coming to you when you're no longer working, your income has to be greater than your expenses. If there's a gap there, how do you leverage your remaining assets to close this gap so your income is always greater than or equal to your expenses? That's at least giving you the baseline. Once you accomplish step 1, you can move on to step 2, emergency need. Rule of thumb is an individual should have anywhere between 6 to 12 months of what their expenses are into some sort of liquid account. In case of an oh my gosh or an emergency was to occur, they could dip into those monies at any point in time. Something that's not going to try to grow, but it's just going to be basically sitting there like a checking savings type position. Now, whatever you don't use up for step 1 and step 2, this could go to step 3, and this is the growth/inflationary bucket. Now, you could create a bunch of different strategies. You could have this growth strategy could be, okay, I just want to be gung-ho into the market and just be super aggressively invested because I could afford to have my money's ebb and flow because I already accomplished my step 1 and step 2. So maybe you take a portion of that. It's really based on what your risk tolerance is. For somebody that's more risk tolerant, they could be more aggressive. Somebody that's more risk averse, they be less aggressive and they can use more safer accumulation strategies. And this is where you could really tailor this growth section in a few different ways, in a few different buckets, so that it's working in tandem with one another. You have maybe a portion for extreme growth, or an aggressive strategy, a safe strategy, a middle of the road strategy. You could also create death benefit strategy. So maybe like if you have $100,000 remaining, let's say you invest $100,000 aggressively, and then you have another $100,000 remaining that you want this going to your kids or grandkids. You can now create some sort of optimized strategy on a death benefit need, and going and leveraging these pieces the correct way. And making sure that it's being optimized, it's being most tax efficient. Maybe you could take portions of these dollars, do Roth conversions to maximize out your benefits. There's a whole slew of different ways to do that. But by taking the lump sum option, you're not just taking the lump sum and dumping into your checking account. What you're doing is you're taking the lump sum and you're rolling it over into an IRA. Because if you dumped it into your checking account, that's going from a qualified account into a non-qualified account, and you'd get taxed with all those monies that you would do. So you're not taking the $500,000 saying, all right, let me throw it in my checking account and then I'll figure it out from there. No, what you're doing is you're being systematic, you're being methodical with how to be, how to make sure that everything works out like a perfect puzzle piece. So what we try to do with individuals that call over to our agency or contact us through our digital calendar is we go through something called the retirement diet process, or retirement diet plan. It's a trademark process. And the D stands for distribution planning. And that's probably the most important thing when it comes to retirement. So if you're nearing retirement, you're currently retired, you're currently in retirement, how do you stay retired forever? make sure that your income sources, that you're creating the proper income strategy, and that income strategy is padded. It has certain guarantees involved to make sure that if the market's going hell in a handbasket, your money or your cash flow is preserved, protected. The next step is investment planning. So that's where we go through something called the REEF method. We look at what your risk tolerance is, what your risk score is. We examine what your current situation is, what your current eggs in your basket are. We see what other opportunities are available. We examine the other eggs available. And then F is for fees, meaning how can you strip down as many fees as possible. If you're trying to leverage an investment or growth strategy, how to make sure that you're stripping down those fees so you have the least amount of drag on your account with the optimized blend that's specific to your risk tolerance. And then with the other portions of the diet plan, we have the E is estate planning if you want to create some sort of death benefit need, and then T, tax planning if you want to do like Roth conversions, different things like that. But we try to encompass and create these little acronyms so that everything is very simple, and we're never going past one step. We're always being optimized as per each step if that pertains to your goal. Some individuals, they don't care. Maybe they have more than enough cash flow, and they don't need the annuity income stream. And when they're looking at their lump sum options, maybe that everything's going to go into that step 3 growth side because they don't need money for income. They already have that covered. They don't need a strategy for emergency because they already have that covered. And now they could have fun with these dollars as opposed to being handcuffed into that annuity option. So I hope that all this makes sense. This is something that I recently came into contact with one of my clients, and I've experienced this in the past where individuals have mistakenly taken the annuity option and they handcuffed themselves and they couldn't get out of that annuity option. So this is why, I felt it important to at least create this video, allow you to see some educational pieces on it. If you are interested in speaking with us or if you did find value in this video, feel free to give our 1-800 number a call. It's 1-800-566-1002. You can visit our website at fosseefinancial.com or retiresharp.com. I'll both bring you to the same spot. And feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Retire Sharp, so you have access to the most updated videos. Thanks so much, guys.